This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So we are still with Zach Downs with Nanofine. We were talking about how he recently helped a client of ours save over $15,000. Rather than go with a complete re-roof, he was able to lock it in and extend the life of that roof by a minimum of 5 years. But sometimes people aren't, wanting to lock in the roof at the tail end of its lifespan. There are people out there who, are very more maintenance conscious, like the type of people who paint their house every so many years. Is that the other type of client you typically
absolutely.
work with?
I mean, we work with a lot of folks that just want to, they think about maintenance a little differently, right? They want to maintain. I always think of my father-in-law. He is like a maintenance guy. Like if there's anything that can extend the life of anything that he has on his house, he's doing it.
Like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino, right? Like his house was nice.
He's just very particular.
I love that example.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I got
It's-
to go back and watch that movie.
That was a great movie. And so there are a lot of folks out there like that. And I create that analogy in my mind. It's like this, the treatment that we do is going to stop the aging process. Okay. So if the roof is at the end, toward the end of its life, and we stop the aging process, that's fine. That's good. But imagine if there was a pill that stopped our aging process as an individual. If you waited until you were 80 years old,
Right.
and you took that I'm no longer going to age at 80. Well, great. Okay, that's good. But imagine if you took that pill at 30. Like you probably felt a little better at 30, and you could do more at 30 than you do at 80. And so, the same is kind of true with the roof. Like if we can stop the aging process of the roof, there's going to be less, microfractures in the shingles. You're going to have a better overall roof that's going to last even longer than if we do it once we're in the we have to mode, right?
Yeah.
I like the example you used too of like changing the oil on a car. Like if you never changed the oil on a car, maybe it would last 30, 40, 50,000 miles. But now because you're regularly getting those oil changes, Valerie had a car that we owned it and it was still running and it had 243,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And so how long, if you were to do regular treatments every so many years, theoretically, because you said product came out in 2018.
Yeah.
How long are they thinking this product could extend the life of a roof?
So there's been quite a bit of third-party laboratory testing done from UL and IBHS. And we were actually, my partner and I were just out in San Antonio at a roofing conference a week or two ago. Time's all mushed together in my mind.
Yep.
I blame it on 5 kids, but
That's a good excuse.
yeah. But we were out in San Antonio at a roofing conference, and there were some folks out there that were floating the idea around of if you started this process early and had treatments done every 7 to 10 years on a new roof, that the overall life of a roof, instead of being, let's say, 30-ish years as a life of a roof, people were floating the idea of like 100 years on a traditional composition shingle roof. Some even longer. Now, to a certain degree, time will tell. Right?
Sure.
But I think to the analogy of the automobile, if in some alternate universe, oil changes never existed and we were just all conditioned that we bought a car, it went for 40,000 miles before the engine blew because we never did an oil change, and then we bought a new car, which is kind of the way that we handle roofing, is we get a new roof, we don't do anything to it, and then at some point it fails and we get a new roof. So if in some alternate universe that was the way that we handled automobiles and someone came and said, hey, I think that there's this thing like an oil change we could do, and it'll extend the life up to 243,000 miles or whatever her car went to, it would be viewed as insane. Like there's just no way it can happen. It's impossible. So when we talk to people right now and say, hey, there's a lot of folks that think that if you treat the roof early and every 5, 7, 8 years, that the overall life of the roof can last 100+ years. It's viewed with that same lens of you're insane. There's no way it's impossible.
Yeah.
But I think that you're starting to see with these lab testings done that, no, it is possible. And if that takes place, it kind of just fits within the zeitgeist culture that we kind of have, which everything's going to a subscription model. And so it's kind of hilarious that potentially you could end up with almost a subscription service.
subscription.
Yeah, where your roof lasts forever, and you get treatments done every 7 years instead of a large ticket every 25 years.
Yeah.
And like we talked about with homeowners living in homes for like an average of 7-8 years, if that roof lasts for 25 years, let's say, well, it's almost just bad luck if you're the 1 out of 3 homeowners that ends up with that big ticket, right?
Yeah.
Because if homeowner number 1 buys the roof, spends $25,000, and then homeowner number 2 lives there for another 7 years, they don't have to replace it. Homeowner number 3 lives there for another 7 years, they don't have to replace it. Now you're back to homeowner number 4, and they have to spend another $25,000 to replace it. It's like, man, you just kind of got unlucky with where you ended up
In the cycle.
In the cycle,
Yeah.
right? Versus if you have a $3,000 treatment every 7 years, it's kind of spread out more evenly among the people that are living in the home over those years and period of time, and it's less expensive
Way
overall
less expensive.
because the $25,000 over, let's say, 25 years is like $1,000 a year averaged out. Whereas if you can get $3,000 for 5 or 6 or 7 years, well, now you're $500 averaged out. So it's like spread out more evenly, and it's less expensive averaged over the course of the year. So I know that was a very long answer, but
No, but basically, and this is just for composite shingle
Correct.
roofs.
Yes.
You guys can, sweep the moss off and spray this on tile roofs to prevent the moss from coming.
yeah, absolutely. I would say like right now, insurance, homeowners insurance right now in California is wild.
Crazy.
It is wild.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And a lot of carriers, it appears that they're just looking for a reason to cancel
absolutely.
policies.
Oh, you have a
Definitely.
leaf on your roof. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we can cover that.
Just looking for absolutely anything. And so I think one of the benefits of this is, number one, if somebody does get a letter from their insurance carrier stating that they need a new roof, we've already had situations where we treated the roof, we certified it, they provided that certification back to the carrier, and that sufficed. So they didn't have to, again, spend the money for a new roof. But even if you haven't got that letter yet, but you're concerned that you don't want
Right.
to get on the radar with your insurance carrier because you have moss on the roof, because your roof is older, we can come out, treat the roof, provide that certification, and now it's like you've been proactive on it, and
Yeah.
you have a certification that's in your hand once or if the carrier comes at you and wants X or Y or Z. So.
Exactly. And so we're obviously talking about this in a very positive way, but you've had some experiences with even other roofers who are very skeptical about, hey, is this just snake oil?
Yeah.
Or is this really helping people's roofs? What happened with that? Can you mind sharing the story about the contractor?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think a healthy level of skepticism is, well, it's healthy.
Yep. Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see.
There you go.
That's where I come from.
Exactly. So we had a roofing contractor that was very skeptical. And so we told him, why don't you just come out to a job and let us know what you think, right? And
Love that.
and to
Yeah.
be honest, like I wanted to know what he thought too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So he came out, we were treating the job, and I'll use his words here. He said, as we were treating it, and again, part of it is, again, it's bringing pliability and flexibility back to the shingle, because shingles get very dry, and then a lot of contractors and inspectors will come up and do what's called a brittleness test, and you'll feel how brittle the shingle is. And so while we're up there treating the roof, his words were, I can literally hear the shingles relaxing. He goes, this is crazy. Like, this is wild. I can hear it. And then we went back to that same job a couple days later, and he was walking on the roof, and he goes, this is not how a 20-year-old roof feels to walk on it, because the amount of granule loss that you typically have when you're walking on an older, dry roof, if you've ever been up on your roof, like there's probably the granules just start falling off all over the place. You look in your gutter, and it looks like a beach is in there.
Yep.
And so, he literally was like, this is not how a 20-year-old roof should feel. This is wild. And since then, now he sent us a handful of projects, and we work with him. So we kind of created a believer out of him. And so, yeah, I mean, again, I think healthy skepticism is good, but once you see what this product can do, and that's why I think has the opportunity to be such a disruptor in the space, is because we've had a chance to see what this can do, and it's pretty incredible.
And then I also want to just touch base on what. So, for example, like there's the people out there who have the house that the roof is aging. They're gonna maybe have you come out and do it. Maybe they have the people that have the newer house, and then they're gonna have you come out and just maintain the roof.
Yep.
But so when people look at real estate agents, they think they're all the same. You throw a rock, you hit 2 real estate agents in a parking lot at Trader Joe's. Like, they're everywhere, but they're not all the same. And so the product that you offer is different than the other product out there that's just the soybean. So soy.
Soybean. Yes, correct.
Yeah. So can
Yep.
you just so people understand the difference if they're looking for the right product, the premium product that you're offering, and how that just differs from the other one? Can we just touch on that just briefly?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so obviously I'm biased on this,
it's your company.
but I would say, but this is where I was going to go with that. Is I encourage people that like look at our treatment, and I'll say like, hey, here's a couple of competitors. Like, have them talk to you about their product, because I think like once you see the difference, not from just my voice, but even from the other competitors that just use that soybean oil, we're typically less expensive. So you would imagine like, okay, well, a premium product's going to have a premium price.
tag,
It's going to be more expensive. We are 90% of the time less expensive than the competitors out there. And number two, the warranties that we can offer because of the additional protection that's in the treatment, that nanosilica that's inside of it, we're less expensive and we can provide a greater overall warranty. And so it sounds backward, right? But really the magic is in not putting a surface coating on the shingle, but getting and creating a molecular change inside of the shingle itself. And that's like really where the magic happens. So
if you're exploring different options and you're trying to figure out what works best for you, make sure that you're understanding the difference between what one person is selling you versus what
Correct.
Nanofy offers.
And we do free, I always tell folks too, I say, if there's like a maybe chance, like we do free evaluations. So we'll send somebody out.
Big.
Yeah. So we'll send somebody out. We'll take a look at the roof. We'll evaluate.
Give them a bid.
Yeah. And we'll let them know. I mean, we can do complete re-roofing also. So we were just at a property up in Cameron Park and they really wanted us to do the treatment. We said, we can't bring Lazarus back. Like this roof is just, it's gone, like we can't do that.
Yeah.
And so we gave them a re-roof bid. And so, we also do re-roofing in addition to treatment. And I think that by being able to provide both, it just allows, if we only did treatment, well, then we're probably going to
sell the treatment,
right?
Yeah.
Just the same way that if roofing contractors only do re-roofs, well, they're probably going to tell you that you need a re-roof, right?
Correct.
And so by us being able to do both, it just allows us to provide like the most accurate information to the homeowner. So
love it. Well, hey man, thanks for being on the
absolutely.
show today.
No, thank you for having me.
Well,
Zach
where
Downs
do we
with
go
Nanofy.
find information?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So you can go to our website, which is www.getnanofy.com.
How do you spell that?
So get is G-E-T.
Sure.
And then Nanofy, Nanofy.com. So getnanofy.com. It's probably the best way to find us. And you can check out all the stuff on our website, go through all that together. Our warehouse is in Roseville. So,
and then if you have any questions, you can always just reach out to us as well at madeformorerealty.com. And we're happy to get you connected with Zach and his team.
Ready to sell your home but don't want to go through the hassle of open houses and showings? Johnny Jennings can guarantee to get you at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. Just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty and get more for your home.